it's Miss Teresa here at home doing my virtual Sunday school lesson. Last week we read from the Great Bible Stories for Children, and we're going to read again this week from the same book. Last week we read Noah Builds an Ark, and this week we're going to read the flood, and it comes from Genesis chapter 7 verses 17 through 24 and chapters 8 verses 1 through 17. And what a good lesson with the weather they're given. They're given rain, rain, and more rain. And here we go, the flood. There's no pictures with this one, just words. After Noah and his family and all the birds and animals were safely inside the ark, they waited for God to keep his promise. For 7 days they waited. Then as God said, the floods began. The rain began to fall. Drop, drop, drop. It rained and it rained and it rained for 40 days and for 40 nights. Water began to cover the grass. Then small trees were swallowed up by the floods. The animals and creatures that God had put upon the earth had died. Soon the houses and the towns and villages disappeared under the water. There was no hope for the people who lived in them. There was no place for them to go. Still the floods came. Even the highest mountain and the tallest trees were covered with water. The whole earth looked like the ocean. The ark floated on top of the water. God was taking care of Noah just as he had promised he would. Inside, Noah and his family were tossed about, but they were not afraid because they knew God was with them. At last the rain stopped, but Noah had stayed in the ark for many more days until the water had gone down. The winds began to blow and dry up the water. The warm sun began to shine. The water was lower and lower each day. Finally, the ark began to rest on top of Mount Ariat. Noah opened the window of the ark and sent out a raven to see if the water had dried up. He also sent out a dove. When the dove came back, Noah knew that he must stay in the ark a little longer. 7 days later, Noah sent out the dove again. But it did not return at once. All day Noah and his family waited for the dove to come back. When it was evening, the bird flew back in with a leafy branch in its beak. Noah knew that the trees were appearing and that the land would soon be dry. The next time Noah sent out the dove, it did not return at all because it had found dry land at last. Noah opened the door of the ark when he heard God saying, "Noah, take your wife and your sons and their wives and all the birds and animals out of the ark. Your family will be the first of a new generation. The children of your sons will have children, and their children will have children also." It was a happy day for Noah and his family. How glad they were to be on dry land again. I want to keep going. This is the rainbow of promise. This is the part of the story that I love. And it comes from Genesis chapter 8, verses 18 through 22, and chapter 9, verses 1 through 17. Noah and his family were very happy to leave the boat where they had lived for so long. It was so good to see the sun again. After Noah had released the animals, he said to his family, "God has been so good to us. Before we do anything for ourselves, let us thank him for keeping us safe and dry during this long days when the earth was covered with water." Noah and his family gathered the stones and built an altar so they could worship and praise God. God was pleased when he saw Noah and his family giving thanks. God said to Noah, "I will never again destroy the earth with water. Look at the clouds. I have placed my rainbow there as a sign. Each time you see the rainbow, it will remind you of my promise. From now on, as long as the earth remains, there will be a summer and a winter. There will be a day and a night. There will be a time to sow seed and a time to harvest crops." Noah looked at the sky. God had set a beautiful rainbow there. It shone in shades of red, orange, yellow, blue, green, indigo, and deep violet. It was a sign of God's promise. So remember, when it starts raining and raining and raining this weekend, God has promised he'll never ever flood the earth again with the rainbow of promise. I love you all. If y'all have time, draw a beautiful rainbow and send me a picture. See you soon. Bye.